Hi, everybody. I'm Andrew Hutchings, and I'm not a doctor. So don't take anything as medical advice. Don't listen to me. Just take it as you will. Do your own research. But today, and where's the camera? I want to look into it. Got a new phone. So today, I'm going to tell you about why you don't want to do anabolic steroids. And the reason is it does the opposite of all the benefits you get from working out. So when you work out, you get healthier, you get better cholesterol, you get better heart conditioning, you get better everything. Your brain's better, everything's better. But when you do steroids, not only do you undo that good, it actually does damage. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible for someone to take steroids and work out and for them to still have a good heart and still have a good brain, still have a good whatever. But steroids are very damaging, so start with the heart. Steroids have numerous different ways that they cause heart damage. Some big ones are that it messes up your cholesterol, it raises your low density cholesterol, the LDL, and it lowers your high density HDL. And you want a big ratio of HDL to LDL. When you don't, you're at risk of a heart attack. And it also can cause left ventricular hypertrophy, which also puts you at greater risk of a heart attack. And it's also been shown to cause, I forget exactly how it does it, but it's separate from the other things. It actually directly damages the heart. There's a couple other things, but it doesn't even matter. You don't need to know them all. I mean, you can do your own research, and I did my own, but when you learn things, you have to, well, I mean, it's subconscious, at least for me. But your brain should filter out what's important to know and what's not, and it comes down to this. Steroids do a lot of heart damage in a lot of different ways. Do you need to memorize all the different ways it does heart damage? No. You just have to know that it does a lot of heart damage, and to your whole cardiovascular system, to all your blood vessels, arteries, everything. Steroids also cause brain damage. And I'm not saying that anyone who's taken steroids is a moron or something's going on in their head and they can't think right and they're stupid. But they do cause brain damage and they cause changes in the way your brain works. In short, this has to do with, the damage is a little more complicated, but they do cause damage. But the changes are due to the fact that steroids are stimulants. They change the way dopamine and norepinephrine and everything is being released and sent, and the concentrations of it in your brain. So that causes structural changes. After you've used steroids, you're more likely to be addicted to other drugs, to get addicted to gambling, to engage in risky behavior. Basically, you get wired for rewards. Like you seek out rewards, you want them to make you feel good. The damage, once again, I don't remember exactly the damage it does, because at the end of the day, unless you're going to try to do, and this is how I usually think, is how you're going to reverse or prevent it. So I do learn in depth about a lot of things, but for me, I don't use steroids, so I don't need to know all these things. But it causes damage to those same parts of your brain with the dopamine, and it causes damage to a specific part of the brain, not just the dopamine areas. Steroids also cause your hair to recede. Mine's already receding enough, so I don't want to see how far it could go. They cause liver damage, even injectable steroids. I mean, people somehow think that injectable steroids bypass the liver, but they don't. Nothing bypasses the liver. I mean, maybe you could design something to bypass the liver, not a steroid, but when it comes to drugs, 99.99999% of them go through the liver, because that's how the human body works. And the liver tries to do things to those drugs so that they can get pushed out of you easier. Nothing bypasses it. And the liver doesn't just give up. So I mean, like the oral steroids, they're modified to make it harder for the liver to get rid of them. And that's why they're harder on the liver, because the liver, it's harder for it to get rid of them, so it works harder. It raises its enzyme levels, but those enzymes, when they go up, they do bad things. And eventually you get structural damage, and then you get fluid leaking out of things, and it's really not good. I mean, basically all the toxins in your body are going to build up, and I mean, if it got really bad, you could even end up in a coma, because your body's so toxic and you die. But yeah, injectable steroids do not bypass the liver at all. You should look up some of the studies done on like nandrolone, for example, causing blood-filled cysts in the liver. Now, the good news is that it's been shown that consuming whey protein, because whey protein has antioxidants like methionine and glutathione. I don't know all the ones that it uses, but basically, if whey protein is consumed with it, it prevents a lot of the damage done by nandrolone, at least in the rats or whatever it was studied on. But yeah, blood-filled cysts in your liver. Does that sound good to you? Because it doesn't to me. I'd rather get drunk every day and get a little bit of liver damage than get blood-filled cysts in my liver and maybe end up in the hospital. Luckily, the liver can heal very, very well. It's amazing. You can take a little tiny piece of the liver and put it into somebody, and it will eventually grow to be the full size of the liver, meaning that if you got really bad damage in your liver, you could cut out the damaged parts, but you don't really need to, because the body will replace the damaged parts eventually with new liver tissue. Now, your kidneys, no, they do not repair themselves, sadly. And anabolic steroids can also cause kidney damage. I don't know any that are particularly damaging to the kidneys, but any steroids that increase your blood pressure, which would tend to be the aromatizable steroids, or ones that increase your erythropoietin a lot, and increase your red blood cells and your hematocrit and everything. It's like equipoise, I don't know how it's said. And I don't know this for sure because I don't care to look into it specifically. But since I've read that it really increases your blood volume, that means you're pushing more through your kidney. Your kidney filters all your blood. And if you push too much through it, it damages it.